Welcome and thanks for joining us. My guest today is Devarius Peoples, Chief Information Officer at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Mr. Peoples, good to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start at the 50,000-foot view of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers as the CIO. What is your generally role? What are your priorities in terms of technology and information for the Corps?
Yeah, so the Army Corps of Engineers, it is a organization that is based off of construction with three major efforts and initiatives with disaster relief. It is also focused on the civil aspect of the mission, levees, locks, dams at your various state and local areas. And we also do military construction for the Army, DOD, and we provide the civil aspects of supporting the local areas. Some of our major efforts and initiatives that we're focusing on in FY21 is a system modernization. We have a lot of AISs, our automated information systems, that are pretty much end of life that we're in the process of modernizing. We are also moving towards more of a zero trust methodology and a continuous ATO, moving more so from the theoretical aspects of zero trust and operationalizing it. And we're also trying to figure out or modernize the way in which it is we go through the risk management framework and provide ATOs or authorizations to operate to a lot of our systems on the network. Instead of doing them in more of a streamlined approach, we're moving more towards the continuous aspect to where cyber is every day and it's not just a snapshot in time. So those are all of the things that we're beginning to look at. And last but not least, we're moving more towards a data-driven organization. And that data-driven organization is consistent with where the larger Army headquarters CIO is moving with Dr. Iyer, who's the new CIO. We're focused more on enabling master data sources, being able to access data real time, and allow our senior leaders to make more authoritative decisions with the data in which it is that they have in a consumable form that makes sense to even the most generic of users that tries to access the data.
And you mentioned several missions areas that the Corps has. Are they tending to be, in terms of the IT that's supporting them, do they tend to be siloed, or is the integration maybe as one organization regardless of the particular task or mission? Is that part of the goals here also?
Right. We are a more siloed, we have been in the past more of a siloed organization. We're now moving more towards that enterprise perspective. And with enterprise perspective meaning also shared services, how can we share our capabilities with the rest of the department where there may be a need within a given subset? So when you talk about data and those type of things, we're trying to allow anybody that needs access to the data the ability. However, we're trying to also secure it. So those are some of the things in the modernization methodology and approach that we are modernizing towards within the Corps of Engineers.
Yes, because there is a larger U.S. Army that you are part of. So maybe describe a little bit about what you do on the behalf of the Corps itself and how and when you need to be integrated with the larger Army department for IT and networks and so on.
Right. So the Army Corps of Engineers is a very unique organization. We actually manage and maintain our own network called CoreNet. However, with that being said, we do integrate with the Department of Defense and the larger DISA network as well too. Because as communicated, we have a unique mission. One aspect of it is civil, which focuses on the federal aspect of the organization, and then there's the DoD Mill Department aspects where we, as I said, integrate with headquarters Army as well as DISA for a lot of our services. So with that being said, we follow a lot of Army regulations and guidelines. We also follow a lot of federal regulation and guidelines. So as CIO, trying to find where that sweet spot is when it comes to how we implement things, how we go about servicing our customers. That's the challenge, but that's also the beauty in being a part of the Corps of Engineers. And Big Army supports us on the CIO side and the G6 side. They support us in multiple ways. They do a good job in assisting us with being able to acquire the right funding to be able to move initiatives forward, as well as to be able to assist us in some of our efforts, such as the data strategies. We have the ability to be able to take advantage of a lot of the things in which it is they're putting in place. So there is a very unique relationship between us, but it's very effective in how we deliver services to enable our end users to be successful.
And you did mention earlier this crisis management and disaster relief role in addition to the construction piece. So does that cause the Army Corps of Engineers to also interact with some civilian parts of the government, FEMA, other components of Homeland Security and so on, that might also impinge on a given bad situation?
Yeah, definitely. We work closely with FEMA, DHS. We work closely with the Department of Energy as well when you look at the critical infrastructure aspect of the mission also. So we are, again, unique. It's a dual mission, the civil agency side of the house and the DOD. And we do more, to be honest, we do more interact, we have more interaction, or we do more work with the civilian side of the house than we probably do on the mill side from a DOD perspective, being that civil aspect of disaster recovery, floods, wildfires, COVID-19, all of those things are really civil supporting aspects of the mission. So we do interact with those guys quite frequently. Coast Guard, we have a great working relationship with the Coast Guard as well too, supporting all aspects of our civil mission.
And just talking about the pandemic for a moment that you mentioned, every agency had to react in much the same way, but each agency has kind of a unique story on how it went about enabling people to work remotely and otherwise dealing in a technological sense with the pandemic. What is the Army Corps of Engineers story there?
Yeah, so within the Army Corps of Engineers, it's very unique. I can't use that term enough. We started out, as we've told this story, we started out with a fiber cut at one of our major data centers in Vicksburg, Mississippi. So just imagine you have 36,000 users that can't connect on the first day of remote work. So that was a disaster averted. We were able to work with our mission partner to reestablish comms. It took us 12 hours. So I don't want people to go away with the impression that everything was seamless as we began to support our users in this remote environment for COVID-19 support and beyond. So with that being said, after that 12-hour period, we began to get on stable grounds. However, come to find out now our VPN had a limited capacity. So we get from fiber cut to now limited capacity on the VPN. So we were kind of playing musical chairs with who could get on the network, who couldn't get on the network to ensure that the mission could continue. So within a 7-day period, we were able to effectively increase our VPN capacity to where now on a given day before COVID-19 happened, we had roughly about maybe 800 users leverage the VPN access, to where once we got operational and started operating this COVID environment, we now have 24,000 to 30,000 users leveraging the VPN daily. We were able to scale our VPN capacity to 80,000. So we went from 800 to 80,000 in about the capacity span of 7 days. So all of those things were very effective as we move forward to be able to effectively meet our mission and do what it was we needed to do. And now here we are operating in a COVID environment, still modernizing our major applications, still providing relief where the nation needs us to be at. And we're still fighting natural disasters, floods, and those things. So from an IT perspective, ensuring that our users can effectively have access to their applications and work as if nothing has ever happened is what we are in the process of trying to continue to do on a daily basis.
And you mentioned modernizing a couple of times, and you also mentioned the data center in Vicksburg. What is the specific modernizing strategy? What are you trying to do here vis-a-vis your networks and also your data centers?
Right. So we are now in the process from a data center perspective. We have consolidated all of our major data centers into two. Now they reside in our prime area is Vicksburg, Mississippi, and our last one is in Portland, Oregon. So that gives us redundancy. So what we're in the process now of working with some of our mission partners, we are moving to a Equinix type of facility and construct to where we are deploying a hybrid cloud environment. And that hybrid cloud environment will consist of some on-prem, which we will manage inside of our what we call the Meet Me Point, which is an Equinix facility that we're working with our mission partner and Verizon and some of the likes. And then we're also working with our major cloud brokers, whether that's Azure, whether that's AWS, Oracle, and several others, you name it. We are sitting with the big boys and we're playing in those same spaces for data center and cloud modernization efforts. So hopefully within the FY21 fiscal year, we will be able to effectively build out our cloud environment for our on-prem aspects of things, which will give us our triple active architecture that we're looking for, which means we'll never have any downtime as we migrate, modernize, and effectively secure through patching, through patch management and those type of things of our major mission applications. It'll also allow us to effectively have ease of access from our access points to where wherever you are in the nation, you'll be able to effectively access the network and the environment. So we have a lot going on in the modernization space. Modernization hasn't stopped, and we'll continue to try to enhance the end user experience for our users.
It sounds like the cloud idea, that migration might be also backing up to what your network strategy is to optimize that for having hybrid cloud.
Right. That is a part of our strategy. As we align ourselves with the federal data strategy, the DoD data strategy, as well as the cloud strategy as well, moving in a cloud smart manner. Those are the things that we're doing now, identifying where's the proper place to put our resources to ensure effectiveness and mission collaboration, as well as connections to be able to access those end user capabilities. So all of those things have properly influenced and informed us on the best way to move forward in a hybrid cloud environment. Because again, one size doesn't fit all, and it depends on what the requirements are and what the mission needs are, which dictate where we go or how we posture ourselves to be successful in a hybrid cloud type of environment.
And give us a sense of how you are evaluating all of the potential workloads and where it is best to have them, because some might want to stay in the data center, some might be brand new and would be in one of the clouds. What's the process for allocating workloads and the process for deciding where they should best operate?
Right. So the geographical disbursement of the core is very large. 55 districts, 9 divisions. So when you think about districts, we're in 55 locations within the United States. That's servicing your various state and local entities. And then those 9 divisions are the central point that actually oversee the various districts that support those local entities. So with that being said, you're span across the United States from California all the way down to Florida, or it's up north as from Maine all the way down as far as south to Texas, or you name it. So with that being said, every geographical location inside the United States, there is different connectivity from the outskirts of Montana, all the way up to the highest left quadrant of Walla Walla and the Washington area. So when it comes to connectivity, you just can't guess how optimal that will be. So some of the things we have to keep in mind as to how we properly identify which workload goes where. So that's based off of an app rationalization process. We have began this journey of identifying which apps need to go where, working with the various stakeholders and mission owners. And with that being said, app rationalization consists of the placement, identifying the workloads, and it also consists of modernizing where applicable, to enhance that specific mission set from an application perspective. So we are full hands-on going through the app rationalization process now to determine that workload and identify where applications are in the life cycle of maturity. And based off of that, we will then begin to insert them into the data center or their final landing spot as to where they will reside. From a data center perspective, we have begun to posture ourselves to where, regardless of where you are in the nation, you will have the most optimal means of connections. And we have integrated all of those resources to a point where there will be no downtime, and every place you're located will have the same connectivity, speed, and mission enhancement. And we'll be able to fail over traffic where needed, to ensure redundancy, ease of use, patch management, cybersecurity, and all those other good things.
All right, on that note, we'll take a short break. My guest today is Devarius Peoples, Chief Information Officer at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I'm Tom Temin on this special Bulletin review and Enterprise Cloud Conversation, sponsored by Oracle here on Federal News Network.